Welcome to your Farm and Home Show. My name is Joanna Coles, and this morning we're visiting with Dr. Steve Isaacs. He's with the University of Kentucky Extension Farm Management Specialist there. Well, I'm glad you're here today because we're going to talk about farmland values.
Fortunately for us, the USDA does an annual survey of farmland values. The USDA data is not a survey of farm sales. They look at like 9,000 tracts all across the continental U.S. of about 1 square mile each, and then they go in and assess or look at the value of cropland, pasture land, and buildings and facilities. And from that, they come up with a statistical value that is the average farm real estate for the U.S. And they release that usually around the 1st of August every year. And while it's not a survey of land sales, it is a good barometer because it tells you how much they've changed from the year before.
I feel like we've kind of seen a trend, I know here locally, of it increasing, but people were kind of questioning this year what would happen with interest rates being high
Right.
and those type of things, but we still saw an increase.
We did. Kentucky farmland values went up from $250,300 an acre from about $4,900 an acre the year before. That's about a 7.5% increase. Now, again, that is an average. That doesn't take in anything into account that is locally driven. Certainly, development pressure or interest in farmlands will do that to drive those values up. But like you say, commodity prices and interest rates, when they're down, when interest rates are up and commodity prices are down, we expect some softening of that. So that's what happened in Kentucky this past year, about a 7.5% increase. Because I keep telling folks, this is just an average value. Compare it to the year before. Don't compare it to any values in your area because land values, Joanna, are determined locally. They're
Mhm.
always determined locally. It's those supply and demand conditions there, what's happening in the ag sector, but also in an area like you're in, it is probably mostly non-ag factors that are driving a lot of land values.
And so you mentioned the numbers for Kentucky, but nationwide, are we seeing the same type of increase?
The national average is about $4,100 an acre, and that's about a 5% increase from 2023. And I actually have a chart that since USDA has been tracking this for about 100 years, I have a chart that shows the increases from the previous year. Now, one thing that chart will show is that it doesn't increase every year. People tend to want to think that, well, farmland always increases in value. Well, those of us who are my age remember the 80s when farmland decreased in value. But generally, it does go up, and over the long run, it is a good investment. The national numbers are good to look at for trends, but not useful in looking at any local market.
A lot of people look at land as a good investment because, we're not making any more of it. What we have is what we have. And I think that is a concern.
Certainly, we do get rid of some every year. I have said for years that farmland is a good investment. If you're wanting to look at long run growth, it is not generally a good cash flow generator.
Mhm.
So farmland tends to get paid for by some other source of income or by some other farmland. Farmland will not generate the income to pay for itself. It's not a popular thing to say, I know, but it just will not. That's just not the nature of the market. Some folks out of Kansas State did some survey work several years ago and indicated that if you included the income and the capitalized value of the land, it'll be somewhere in the 8 to 12% range across the country on an annualized basis, which is not bad. But you need to hold it for a long time, and it is not a liquid asset. To get the value out, you have to sell it.
Absolutely. And that really makes it hard for some of our young and beginning farmers to get into farming to be able to purchase that huge capital investment up front.
That is and has for a long time been the big impediment for folks getting into farming is because, well, 83% of the national farm balance sheet is land. And so when you're going out there trying to acquire land, that's tough. So that's why we have lease markets and other ways. Some more USDA work is that about 75% of land transfers within families anyway. Only about 25% or so of land is sold to a non-relative through some sort of a sale. So it's a fairly thin market, and that land is the big barrier to entry. You're exactly right.
You guys in the UK Ag Economics Department publish an economic and policy update that
Right.
people subscribe to get this information when you guys send it out every month.
Absolutely. And it'll be on a variety of topics. That EPU, Economic Policy Update, is available. Go to the AgEcon website to sign up there. And it'll be beef, it'll be crops, markets, anything that sort of relates to economics will be in there.
Thanks for watching and have a great day.